I believe that he was making the money he says he's making. Showtime Boxing wouldn't have gone out of business. And
Jake Paul's empire has finally crumbled, and many would say it was inevitable. The YouTube prankster turned boxer built his career on controversy and bravado, but now finds himself facing a lifetime ban in the boxing world. His attempt to
and Jake Paul's very smart, man. Like he gets guys that he's bigger than. The only time he fought another boxer his size was Tom Fury, and he
urged his internet fame with professional boxing always seemed more spectacle than substance. Jake confidently stepped into the ring, touting.
And Jake Paul's very smart, man. Like he gets guys that he's bigger than. The only time he fought another boxer his size was Tom Fury, and he lost
himself as boxing's future. But his performance often fell short of his inflated claims. He entered the boxing world with swagger, throwing punches and cash, convincing some that he was the real deal. But boxing isn't a viral video. There's no edit button to mask the flaws. What he sold wasn't skill, but a fantasy, complete with trash talk and theatrics. Fans were entertained, but the foundation of his boxing career was shaky from the start. Over time, the cracks grew too big to ignore. Losses piled up, excuses ran thin, and his self-proclaimed title as the future of boxing became more laughable than credible. The downfall of Jake Paul is a cautionary tale of ambition outpacing ability. Now, his lifetime ban seals the end of an era. Watching his world collapse might feel oddly satisfying for those who saw through
Jake fought a guy who was his age and who was also considered a boxer, and he lost
the facade from the start. Take Jake Paul's fight with Tyron Woodley. Sure, it ended in a TKO, but did anyone really buy it? Woodley, a seasoned MMA fighter, went down in a way that felt more scripted than authentic. Then came the fight-fixing scandal that torched any lingering credibility Jake had as a serious athlete. The most shocking twist? Jake allegedly attempted to rig a fight with none other than Mike Tyson, the boxing legend who could probably knock someone out with a glare. According to leaked documents and
this right here, Skip, Jake Paul has everything to win if he was to defeat Mike Tyson.
Insider whispers, Jake and his team were orchestrating shady deals to stack the odds in their favor. Why rely on skill when you can cheat, right? Fans were outraged. This wasn't just another cringeworthy Jake Paul stunt. It was a slap in the face to boxing, a sport built on grit, respect, and authenticity. But to Jake, it was just another chance to chase clout, treating the ring like his personal TikTok challenge. The much-hyped showdown between Jake Paul and Mike Tyson on November 15, 2024, was billed as the event of the year. Instead, it became a masterclass in controversy and disappointment. A staggering 65 million viewers tuned into Netflix to watch the
Tyson's just been beat off Jake Paul. But how? Mike Tyson's an absolute legend and one of the greatest fighters of all time. How can this YouTuber beat such
spectacle unfold at AT&T Stadium in Texas? But what they got wasn't a clash of titans. It felt more like a poorly scripted reality TV episode. On paper, Jake Paul won by unanimous decision, dominating the match. Yet watching the fight told a completely different story. The entire affair felt off, like witnessing a bad actor flounder.
Superior mobility. Yes, he's going to be more mobile. Yes, he's younger and he can move his feet around. So again, from round one, nothing surprised me so far. Connects with a quick 1-2 combination. Timing appears slightly off. His punches a fraction slower than in his prime. Of course they are. So round one was pretty
in a role he had no business playing. Jake didn't so much outbox Tyson as he seemed to carry the aging legend through the fight, barely throwing anything that could be called aggressive. It was more like a choreographed dance than a competitive bout. Adding to the circus was the pre-fight drama, which played out like a soap opera. From elder abuse accusations to the whispers of staged tension, the build-up felt more pre-planned than spontaneous. Tyson, clearly past his prime and dealing with health issues, looked less like an opponent and more like a pawn in Jake's ongoing spectacle. The whole event left fans questioning the integrity of the sport and wondering if they'd just witnessed boxing's lowest moment. Watching 27-year-old Jake Paul shuffle around the ring with a man 3 decades his senior felt wrong on so many levels. Mike Tyson, while still intimidating in presence, wasn't the Iron Mike of old. The boxing legend entered the bout fresh off a delayed fight date due to a stomach ulcer flare-up, clearly far from peak condition. Yet, this fight was marketed as the event of the year, a clash of titans from entirely different worlds. What fans got instead was a glorified sparring session. Jake danced around Tyson through a few...
I believe that he was making the money he says he's making. Showtime Boxing wouldn't have gone out of business, and Showtime would have made sure they kept paying him.
Right.
Two half-hearted punches that barely connected and ultimately had his hand raised in victory. The result? Social media exploded with criticism. Fans felt duped, calling the match nothing more than a publicity stunt dressed up as a professional fight. The backlash wasn't just about the fight's lack of competitiveness.
That fight, like 2 days in a row.
Wasn't the Tyson-Jake fight, wasn't that amazing?
Yeah. It's amazing they got paid so much money.
It was about what it symbolized. For many traditional boxing fans, it was another slap in the face, a stark reminder.
Well, X has spoken. The fight was scripted. Everyone is talking about this on X, and the script was actually leaked on X.
That their beloved sport is increasingly being hijacked by celebrity influencers chasing quick paydays. Jake Paul, as always, was unapologetic. While fans vented their frustrations, he...
with his superior mobility. Yes, he's going to be more mobile. Yes, he's younger and he can...
basked in the glow of his victory and an alleged $40 million payday. For Jake, the criticism didn't matter. He got the win, the headlines, and the cash, leaving the sport's reputation to bear the brunt. Here's where things got messy. After the fight, whispers of rigging and scripting
is being issued a class action in relation to the Mike Tyson and Jake Paul fight
began to surface. Leaked documents and insider accounts suggested the entire event might have been pre-planned, right down to the scores. Suddenly, Jake Paul's lackluster performance made a lot more sense. If the fight was truly fixed, it explained why Jake appeared to pull his punches and why Mike Tyson, despite being far from his prime, never seemed to be in real danger. Fans, already disappointed...
He wasn't even good at the end, and now he's 58, and he's been living the kind of life he's been living. How's he going to have a chance? I'm putting everything on Paul. I'm laying 180. I think it was 180 he was getting. It was I think it went up to minus 220, whatever, but it was...
Pointed by the unimpressive bout, now had even more reason to be outraged. What was marketed as a monumental clash had devolved into a full-blown scandal, leaving boxing purists and casual viewers alike feeling cheated. So, where does this leave Jake Paul? Facing the music, finally. Legal challenges, accusations of fraud, and a growing wave of public disdain are starting to chip away at his once invincible persona. This fight, intended to cement his status as a serious contender,
That fight, like 2 days in a row.
Wasn't the Tyson-Jake fight, wasn't that amazing?
Yeah. It's amazing they got paid so much.
has instead turned into a PR disaster. For Jake, the fallout might just be too big to bounce back from. Jake Paul's arrest wasn't just a legal procedure, it was pure, unfiltered theater.
He's 58 years old. You know what I mean? Jake fought a guy who was his age and who was also considered a boxer, and he lost.
The once cocky YouTuber turned boxer found himself surrounded by officers and, for the first time, his infamous mouth was silent. It wasn't just a shock for fans, it was a headline writer's dream. The charge is breach of contract and potential fraud. That's right, the guy who spent months hyping his fight with Mike Tyson couldn't even keep his legal affairs in order. But the charges weren't the only thing grabbing attention. It was Jake's reaction. Panic doesn't even begin to...
Frankly, me too, because I don't want to hear any of you dumb fucks anymore. Today, I'm reading your troll comments and eating them.
Describe it. One moment he was bragging about his $40 million payday. The next, he looked like a deer caught in headlights. Gone was the over-the-top confidence, replaced by a very
Yeah, I mean, I'll be down. Let's run it. Like, I'll be super
public meltdown that made even his harshest critics cringe. For someone so skilled at playing the tough guy, this moment exposed the cracks in the facade. The flashy Instagram posts, the luxury cars, the endless trash talk, all of it crumbled under the weight of reality. When the pressure hit, Jake Paul folded faster than anyone could have imagined. A cheap lawn chair, that's how fast Jake Paul folded under pressure. His arrest wasn't just a legal issue, it was a full-blown character expose. Fans who once cheered him on were now left questioning everything. Was any of it real? And if Jake thought getting cuffed was his lowest point, he was
slow and gets in, and he did that and had a clear opening on Jake, and Jake went like this, and Mike just didn't hit him. And that's
sorely mistaken. The fallout from the fight tampering allegations is catastrophic. First up, Jake faces the looming threat of a lifetime ban from boxing. That's right, the self-proclaimed savior of modern boxing might be permanently booted from the sport he spent years trying to legitimize himself in. But it doesn't stop there. On top of the potential ban, Jake is staring down a wave of lawsuits and regulatory actions, the kind of legal trouble that makes one wish they'd stuck to YouTube prank videos. It's one thing to face public backlash. It's another to spend years in courtrooms battling accusations that could even lead to prison time. Sports history is filled with tales of dramatic downfalls, but Jake Paul's is uniquely absurd. Unlike athletes who fell from greatness, Jake's collapse feels like the inevitable end of a career built on spectacle over substance. Jake Paul's downfall isn't the result of personal demons or tragic circumstances. It's a mess entirely of his own making, a mix of arrogance, poor judgment, and an insatiable thirst for fame and fortune brought him to this point. At this stage, Jake isn't just a boxer in trouble, he's a cautionary tale. He's living proof that you can only fake it for so long before reality catches up, and when it does, no number of followers, clickbait headlines or overpriced merch can save you. From internet king to boxing clown in just a few months, Jake's empire has crumbled under the weight of bad decisions, poor choices, and a glaring lack of self-awareness. His approach to boxing, treating it like another episode of The Real Housewives, made this collapse almost inevitable. What does this mean for sports and entertainment? Maybe it's time to rethink who we elevate to champion status. As for Jake's future, a redemption arc might be possible, but it feels like a long shot. If history has taught us anything, it's that arrogance and shortcuts rarely lead to lasting success.
Social media